will also say is not a popular pick, but it's definitely a meta pick, that is for sure.
Definitely a meta pick indeed. But yes, we have an IC champion versus an IC champion teacher.
Indeed, and of course these players are fighting for everything here. There's a lot on the line. First place at our regional championship in the Masters division gets $10,000 in our prize money. So that's just one thing on the line, though. You also get the chance to finish out our format here with your deck, and that's pretty huge as well. Let's take a look at these prize cards as we're about to hop into this match and kick things off, Juancho.
All right, so some notable prizes here is that Manaphy's prize that can stay there. A couple of ball searches and the Iono doesn't matter too much. I mean, eventually you will find your card. You have the time, so the ball search cards don't matter as much for Dennis' side. However, these are some cards that could be stuck a little bit longer since, of course, he is playing the Snorlax deck.
Yes.
Double Pokegear could lead to a less consistent start potentially, and one less boss's orders to work with. You definitely don't want that. But the water energy, I don't think is going to matter too much in this matchup.
The single water energy.
Yeah, so just getting that one card prize, probably not going to matter. But we'll have to see here. Of course, they are playing cards to get some of, they are playing some cards to get some of these prize cards out of the prizes. But right now, I believe we are just starting this match. Here we go. Top 4 of the Vancouver Regional Championships. Dennis Peroff is going to start us off.
Yeah, let's kick things off with a Nest Ball here on Dennis's side. Of course, starting in the active position as well, that Pidgeot V. What do you think about that, Juancho?
Not something you want to start with. Luckily, it's not in any danger at the moment. Pidgeot V, of course, with the Vanishing Wings ability is a way to not deck out, right? And also, it's a Pokemon V, so it is a way to get a Forest Seal Stone attached, but luckily Rotom could do that as well. But yeah, right now, just double Nest Ball played. Let's get some Pokemon in play.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to just vanish away and end the game. We're going to get 3 Nest Ball here. Oh my goodness.
That's 1.5 VIP passes.
Yes, that's true. That's a lot.
No, 3 Nest Balls, 3 basic Pokemon, no Donk in sight. But yeah, again, we need to get the Pidgeot V out of the active. Without I believe the only way to get that, of course, are with the switch cards that we have access to. But, you know, right now, not in any danger. I don't think Gardevoir has the capability to really start swinging. And, of course, instant charge. Let's get some cards in the hand.
Let's get some cards in the hand, indeed. We're over on Lucas Xing's side of the field now. Starting with the Ralts in the active position and also going into the deck here for some Pokemon. But it's going to be with a Level Ball instead here, allowing you to search a Pokemon that's 90 HP or less for Lucas. So let's get into this matchup specifically, Juancho. How does this look on paper for you? What are we going to be seeing? Because this isn't your traditional Pokemon match that you're usually used to watching.
We're going to be seeing some attacks with the Gardevoir. We're specifically only going to see purple on one side of the board, or else it's danger. We're in danger because none of the non-purple cards, something like the Lumineon, Jirachi, or the Radiant Greninja Manaphy, if those hit the board, you know they're going to the active, and there's no way to attack with those Pokemon. So we're only playing Psychic Energy, and no switch cards as well, because typically Gardevoir does use just the energy acceleration from the discard pile to pay for any retreat cost necessarily. And there's one very important supporter card. We did see it flash there for a brief second. Of course, the Professor Turo scenario. That is the only way to get something out of the active. Level Ball for the Jirachi straight away is an interesting play.
Why is that, Juancho?
You're finding a Pokemon, putting it into your hand.
Because it's not purple?
Yes, it's not purple. And Erica's scenario is one way you can gust up something from the hand, interestingly enough. This may signify something like an Iono to ensure that Pokemon goes to the bottom of the deck.
Well, we're going to see some Ralts.
Oh, there's also Lumineon, too. We want both of those things down to the bottom.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to see here right now, Juancho. The Iono, after searching out those cards from the deck into the hand, now they're going to the bottom here for Lucas. So that's not what you want to be drawing into here. And we're going to get some new cards for both of our players. 6 cards because they each have 6 prize cards here off that Iono. Let's see what Lucas is working with now. We're going to have that energy attachment onto the Ralts here for the turn.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Is that 2 more Iono in the hands?
Yes, at this
that's
point.
a lot of supporters.
At this point, maybe if you're Lucas, you'd never want to shuffle the deck, right? You know that there is the Jirachi and the Lumineon. At the very bottom, the Manaphy's prize. The only dangerous card to have in hand at this point is going to be that Radiant Greninja, right? So maybe by never.
There you go.
There's Erica.
Yes, that's exactly what you called it there, Juancho. And Lucas has prepared for it. Expertise here that we're seeing on the stream here. So if you're just tuning in, if you've never even seen a Pokemon card before in your life, Dennis is working with a very different type of deck. It's a control deck. They play 51 trainers in this deck, and it's all the trainers that are trying to help you control as much of the board state as possible.
Real quick, Lucas Singh here, looking at their hand, they have the capability here to go with the aggression. Rare Candy into Shining Arcana Gardevoir. If they can hit the energy here, they're going to start swinging. There's the energy, but more importantly, they also drew the Radiant Greninja. That's a dangerous card in hand, but they do have an Iono here, or to send it to the discard pile.
Ultra Ball it away. Radiant Greninja going to the discard pile here as Lucas is able to search out another Pokemon off of the Ultra Ball into that Kirlia here. Now we are going fast here, Juancho.
I'm looking at the list. Again, it's a long list because it's a lot of different trainer cards, but I believe there is no Echoing Horn. Oh, no, there is. It was the very last one. There is an Echoing Horn.
That's a lot of cards to look at.
There's an Echoing Horn in Dennis Peroff's deck. That means that is one way to get that Radiant Greninja into play.
It was just shuffled back in with the Super Rod.
Okay.
Yes, so
Perfect.
You're good. As you were reading the list, Juancho, I was watching the game to make sure that we know that Radiant Greninja is back in the deck. So we're all good here, but these players are flying. This is fast paced for a Snorlax deck, but the Snorlax is joining us in the active here, along with that Bravery Charm, of course, that is beefing up the Snorlax to 200 HP. But that ability is what we're going to be looking at here on this Snorlax, the block. As long as this Pokemon is in your active spot, your opponent's active Pokemon cannot retreat.
Yes, and right now, Dennis can only go ahead and boss his orders. The Kirlia on the bench, and, well, that great play. Kirlia can't attack at the moment.
Yep, that's just going to be a restart from that Rotom V, which of course ends your turn, draws you another 3 cards here, and Lucas Zing is now taken off with this turn, attaching that energy onto the Kirlia.
Interesting. They have both Gardevoirs in hand at the moment. They could evolve one of them to either Gardevoir EX, trying to accelerate energy from the discard pile, but there's nothing there.
Yes.
Or you could go into another Shining Arcana Gardevoir, trying to accelerate from the deck, and maybe potentially attack this turn, or to send them both back to the bottom of the deck as well. Just keep yourself, have the refinement, have the options for later, and you might just be a pass this turn, or even potentially, is that a slap attack potentially on the Kirlia? I'm not sure what Kirlia's attack is necessarily, but it does do damage.
Let me pull it up for you.
Yeah, it is slap for
it's
30.
That's some damage. So, okay, yeah, they corrected it there. That's gonna be 30 damage, a slap from the Kirlia. Not something you see every day, but that's still damage on the field now onto that Snorlax there from Lucas. Of course, that Iono as well gave a new hand to our players, and we saw the Sydney there taking that Collapsed Stadium away into the discard pile from Lucas.
That is a big discard there, because Collapsed Stadium is a way to try and bump out some threats that are on your bench. Again, threats are those non-purple Pokemon, but in my opinion, the only way that a non-purple Pokemon gets played is by Erica's invitation, and then it just goes straight into active. So maybe not as detrimental, but also hand knowledge at that point. Oh, and there we go. Refinement, getting rid of the Jirachi.
Yeah, but getting rid of the Jirachi, but Lucas is flying through these turns. I think Lucas has this down pat, what the strategy is here. So I believe we're going to see the Super Rod, which I already see in hand here for Lucas, to rescue that Jirachi out of there. But first, we're seeing some refinements here. Discard a card, draw 2 here for Lucas. If you like drawing cards, this is definitely a deck you want to be playing. That is for sure.
And yes, we do see the Lumineon as well in the hand.
Nice.
So that means I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like an Ultra Ball to get that discarded as well, just so that we could go fishing and super rod it back into the deck as well.
Very true. Fog Crystal going to get us that Psychic Energy out of the deck there for Lucas as well. And that Ultra Ball discarding a Counter Catcher as well as Lumineon.
And boo, because of the slap from the earlier turn, this Gardevoir EX that does 190 damage is going to be enough to take a knockout on the Snorlax, surprisingly enough. So slap.
Incredible.
Big play set up there.
Lucas is playing like he's played against a couple of Snorlaxes in his day, I tell you what. You love to see it. You never see that slap from the Kirlia, but it makes all the difference here. And that's going to lead Lucas to a knockout on this Snorlax, even with that Bravery Charm, which is the chunkiness that's keeping that Snorlax alive usually. That's going to be the first prize card for Lucas to take. And we still, once again, only have purple Pokemon out on the field, Wancho. Over to Dennis now. Dennis, maybe like, wow, things are going pretty quick here. Gonna start us off, of course, with an Arven, though, which is gonna allow Dennis to search out a tool card and an item card from this deck. Putting the puzzle pieces together, as I like to say, for our control players.
Yes, the grab there is gonna be that Counter Catcher plus the Forest Seal Stone. Forest Seal Stone, because of course, translates to pretty much anything in the deck. But that Counter Catcher, again, the best thing they could get at this point is that Kirlia, but it is still a psychic Pokemon that can eventually attack, turn into a Shiny Arcana, translate into a knockout. It's just a matter of can Lucas attack this turn? Is there the Shiny Arcana in hand? Are there enough energies in the discard pile?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a matter of are the pieces there. And at that point, if you have 3 Pokemon all powered up and that's all that's in play,
yeah,
things could be looking good. As Pal Pad was just played there, putting back in, again, that Erica's Invitation. At some point, Lucas has to draw one of those water Pokemon, right? At some point.
At some point, yes, you would think. Dennis is going to put another Bravery Charm down onto this Snorlax here. We also saw the Pal Pad here from Dennis as well.
Yes, again, Bravery Charm in the active Snorlax means 200 HP. The Gardevoir EX no longer can take this knockout. Maybe we start off again with another slap from a Kirlia.
That's true. We could see it. We definitely could see it. Well, Lucas is starting off this turn here with that Kirlia in the active. What do we see in the hands here, Wancho?
I see a blue card in the hand. I see a Radiant Greninja. That is a dangerous card to have in the hand. Yeah. And I don't think I see an Iono or anything at the moment.
To get it out of the hands? Uh-oh, yeah. Things could be getting pretty risky here for Lucas, and that's what Dennis is counting on here, that we can just wait a little bit of time, and eventually, like you said, Wancho, we're going to hit something that's going to help us capitalize on this game and take control back here from this Gardevoir player.
Yes, this is almost as if it's some sort of a dangerous juggle, right?
Yes.
It's something you don't see every day, but it's like, oh, I need the Pokemon in my hand, put it in the discard pile, put it back in the deck. Oh, let's Iono it back into the deck.
Lucas, don't drop the Fog Crystal, please.
Yes, just hot potato with all these different Pokemon.
Yeah.
As Gardevoir EX is going to be the grab there off the Ultra Ball. You think that's going to be the next attacker as well? Is there enough Psychic Energy in the discard pile?
That is a good question, Wancho.
Psychic Embrace, we do have the attachment. We're going to see another slap here.
There we go. That's the slap from the Kirlia, what we just saw earlier. Of course, that Psychic Embrace is going to cause those damage counters onto the Kirlia there for Lucas. But Dennis, now working with this turn after that Snorlax just got slapped. Slapped in your sleep, Wancho.
It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up, Snorlax.
Wake up, Snorlax.
Big Pokegear here. If they can find Erica's Invitation, we know for a fact it's in the hand. Iono, that's something Lucas loves to see. If that gets played, that means the Greninja goes back into the deck. But again, the deck should be fairly thin at this point. You wouldn't think that the downside of refinement in this matchup is getting the deck thin enough that it's going to be easier to draw into some of these cards.
That is very true. Well, we are going to see this Iono here from Dennis. So both of our players shuffling up here. These hands are going to go to the bottom of the deck. Lucas going to draw into 5, Dennis into 6.
Looking at Lucas's hand, don't see anything other than purple at the moment.
Okay, that's good to see. Well, it's just going to be an end of the turn here on Dennis's side. That restart here from the Rotom V 3 cards ends the turn. Lucas now has the reins in this match. Going to start off with that first refinement from that Kirlia.
Some dangerous draws here, just forced to be using the shiny arcanas, the refinements to try and find an attacker. Because at the moment, I believe there is no Gardevoir EX, no Radiant shiny arcana Gardevoir in hand. So they might not even have an attack here besides another slap potentially. And right now, even if there aren't any non-psychic Pokemon in play, there is something like the Zacian. Oh, there is an energy, but there is no evolution Pokemon. The Turo is in hand as well, which is a safety Pokemon. And again, Erica's invitation is going to find themselves at basic Pokemon, but at least it's psychic.
That is very true. At least it's psychic indeed. That's what we want to keep seeing here. There goes Dennis again. We are flying through this match here. Dennis with the instant charge once again on that Rotom V. Lucas grinding through this turn here as well with the first refinement from this Kirlia.
Yes, I was thinking about it. One of the downsides as well of losing the Collapsed Stadium is that these energies are now stuck on the Gardevoir or the Kirlias.
Yeah,
so if you can't get them to the discard pile, you might not be able to power up your other Pokemon.
That's spooky.
Right now there is 6, 8, 9, 11 energies in play.
I'll tell you what, those reversal energy are...
Did Lucas try and retreat there for a second? Oh, right there.
Yeah, there we go, there we go. A little bit of a misstep there, but we corrected it there. We had the boss's orders. Getting that block Snorlax out of the way, Rotom V is going to come up, which is going to allow Lucas to retreat there, which is exactly what was needed to take that knockout as well. Another 2 prize cards down for Lucas Xing. Only 3 away now from taking this first game in our Masters top 4. Dennis promoting this Snorlax back up to the active position, the one that has the 3 damage counters on it. Counter catcher is going to bring that Zacian V right back up into the active.
All Lucas needs is probably 2 more psychic energies in the discard pile so that they can at least start swinging with the Zacian. That would be nice. Definitely put into pressure. But again, Lucas is playing it perfectly here, translating some resources into retreats like the boss's orders there on the Rotom, turning that boss into a retreat, Plus, Yakima was just played there, getting rid of a reversal energy, which at the moment that means that Kirlia is only stuck with 2 energies. And Lucas actually opting to play the Turo scenario right now to just keep the pressure on.
I like it. Going aggro here, putting that Zacian V back into the hands, and now the discard pile here for Lucas.
It's in the discard pile, but again, Echoing Horn is still something to be afraid of, and I believe I do see at least a Radiant Greninja, I believe. Oh, I saw a water Pokemon in the hand, and using this rod right now does mean, if you use that right now, I believe that should be the last Super Rod.
No, there might be one more. Oh, no. There might be one more.
All right, but in either case, that Zacian V does stay on the discard pile. Not the worst thing to get Echoing Horn. This could be bait here. Trying to bait out the Echoing Horn, and
That's true, yeah.
Ooh, and there it is.
Oh, no, Ancho. Is this how it starts here?
Is this the beginning of the end for this game? The Turo scenario was already played. This Lumineon is stuck in the active. If Dennis Peroff never benches another... Ooh, also getting the Echoing Horn on the Zacian. I think Lucas only has something like the Pal Pad left to depend on to try and take a knockout. And that's not... And he's still 2 prizes away. If he was in a scenario where he was down to 1 and all he needed was a Pal Pad, that'd be great. But as soon as that Lumineon is played, or as soon as the Lumineon is brought back to the hand, you just know that it's going to get Erica's back into play. Again, Lucas is so close here. 2 prizes left to winning this game, potentially.
Hey, but you could be 2 prizes left and then just get stuck in an instant one-show, and that could be potentially what happens here. It all comes down to this. We saw this in our last Snorlax block game as well. It comes down to your resources and the lack thereof resources as well. It comes down to when exactly you play something. The sequencing is so important, and if you only slightly missequence something, you could have slipped up and lost the game in an instant.
So Lucas here is going to need to put a couple of cards together. He's going to need the Pal Pad to put back the Turo, And he's also going to need something like an Ultra Ball to get rid of that Lumineon plus the Rod. We know he still has that Rod. He hasn't used it that yet. So if he can put those specific cards together, plus this Iono, which is great, does find the Pal Pad.
Yep, Pal Pad's going to allow Lucas to shuffle those supporters back into the deck. That's huge.
And as well as limit Dennis's hand. Yes, just bring it back to at least 6.
Yeah, six is a lot of cards, but not when your opponent's hand was like 20 before.
And yes, just going for the refinement there. Drawing cards now, wants to put those cards together.
Here, drawing into those, no energy off the Shining Arcana, just 2 cards to the hand. It's going to be a pass now over to Dennis. That Lumineon, as of now, still stuck in the active. Dennis now putting these pieces, these puzzle pieces back together as well. Pal Pad going to bring that Erica back out.
Yes, just really showing what supporters are important to both these players. For Lucas, it's Turo. For Dennis, it's Erica and that Arven. But yes, right now, something that could be very scary here, Boo, is right now there's only 4 bench Pokemon in play. If Dennis plays another Erica's and gets that Radiant Greninja right now in Lucas's hand, that means there's 2 water Pokemon in play, and that is very scary. Dennis here grabbing the Luxurious Cape, which is a very interesting card. Increases the HP of the Pokemon by plus 100, which is a lot, but it's giving an extra prize. Not entirely sure if you want to play that right now, because if we can get out of the active and take 2 prizes, then we win the game.
Yeah, that's a bit scary for sure, but still at least being thinned out of the deck, not coming down, but Arven's going to get it out of there. We're back over to Lucas now, who's going to be benching that Ralts.
I like that play. Again, I mentioned I was afraid of that extra bench space getting filled up by another Erica's, but by filling it up there with that Ralts, that means there's only Psychic Pokemon. And Lucas here, not even drawing a card, just opting to just pass for the turn.
Look at that. We're passing back and forth between these players. A pass from Dennis back over to Lucas.
I see it in hand. He has...
Shining Arcana here for 2 more cards, passing back to Dennis now. And here we have the Misfortune Sisters.
Nothing really important that could be discarded. Again, everything important is in hand.
Yeah.
I did see the Ultra Ball. I saw the Super Rod. Those are 2 items you want in hand because you want to pick up that Lumineon, Ultra Ball, put it back into the deck. So they're in hand. It's perfect. All we're waiting for right now is the scenario, and we're going to start swinging.
Yeah, that's all we need here from Lucas to get this Lumineon V out there that's stuck and not able to do anything at the moment thanks to this Snorlax. But Dennis is going to make sure to keep track of all of these resources in the discard pile for